Hey everyone, Linus here. Today we're diving into the world of operating systems, often shortened to OS. Think of an OS as the brain of your computer. Just like our brains control everything we do, an OS manages all the software and hardware on your computer. It's the reason you can click, type, and play games. Without an OS, your computer would just be a bunch of metal and plastic, clueless about what to do. The OS acts as a bridge between you and the computer's hardware. When you click an icon to open a game, the OS tells the hard drive to find the game files, the processor to run them, and the graphics card to display the visuals. Pretty cool, right? Now, there are many different OS out there, each with its own personality and quirks. But today, we'll focus on two big names in the game, Windows and Linux. These two are like the Coke and Pepsi of the OS world, wildly popular, and always going head-to-head. So, buckle up as we explore Windows and Linux, uncovering their strengths, weaknesses, and what makes them tick. By the end, you'll be able to choose the perfect OS for your needs. Let's start with Windows, the most popular kid on the block. You'll find Windows on a ton of computers, from laptops to desktops, and it's known for being super user-friendly. Think of Windows as that approachable friend who's always down to hang out, no matter your experience level. Windows is a proprietary OS, meaning it's owned and developed by a company called Microsoft. They control everything about it, from the code to the look and feel. This closed-off approach has its pros and cons. On the bright side, Microsoft puts a lot of effort into making Windows easy to use, with a graphical interface that's intuitive and visually appealing. Everything is laid out in a straightforward way, with icons and menus you can click on. Even if you're new to computers, you'll likely find your way around Windows without too much trouble. However, this ease of use sometimes comes at the cost of flexibility. You're pretty much stuck with what Microsoft gives you, and customizing Windows can be a bit of a hassle. But hey, if you're looking for a reliable and familiar OS that just works, Windows is a solid choice. Now let's hop over to the other side of the OS world and meet Linux. Unlike Windows, Linux is open source, meaning its source code is freely available for anyone to use, modify, and distribute. Think of it as the DIY kit of the OS world. You can tinker with it to your heart's content and mold it into exactly what you need. This open nature attracts a dedicated community of developers who constantly contribute to Linux, making it incredibly versatile and customizable. If Windows is your friendly neighbor, Linux is the adventurous friend who's always up for trying new things. Linux is often praised for its stability and security. Since anyone can inspect and improve the code, vulnerabilities are usually found and patched quickly. However, this also means Linux can be a bit more challenging for beginners. While there are user-friendly versions like Ubuntu, Linux often relies on command line interfaces, where you type in commands instead of clicking icons. Don't let that scare you away, though. Learning to use the command line can be incredibly empowering and opens up a world of possibilities for customizing your OS. If you're someone who likes to tinker, explore, and have complete control over your computer, Linux might just be your new best friend. Section 4. Inside the OS kernels and processes. Okay, time for a little behind-the-scenes action. Remember how we said the OS manages everything on your computer? Well, it does that through a bunch of clever tricks, and at the heart of it all lies the kernel. Think of the kernel as the OS's core engine. It talks directly to the hardware, managing resources like memory, processing power, and storage. When you open a program, the kernel allocates the necessary resources and makes sure everything runs smoothly. Each OS has its own kernel. Windows uses the NT kernel, known for its stability and security features. Linux, on the other hand, can use a variety of kernels, with the most popular being the Linux kernel. This flexibility is part of what makes Linux so adaptable. Now let's talk about processes. Every time you open an application, play a game, or even just move your mouse, your computer is running processes. A process is basically a program in action, using your computer's resources to get stuff done. The OS is responsible for managing all these processes, making sure they play nice with each other and don't hog all the resources. This is where multitasking comes in, the OS's ability to switch between different processes rapidly, giving the illusion that your computer is doing multiple things at once. Section 5. Organizing your stuff file systems explained. Imagine your computer storage as a giant library. Without a good filing system, finding the book, or in this case, file, you're looking for would be an absolute nightmare. That's where file systems come in. A file system is like a set of rules that dictate how data is stored and organized on a storage device, whether it's your hard drive, SSD, or even a USB stick. It defines things like how files are named, how they're grouped into folders, and how the OS keeps track of where everything is located. Different operating systems often use different file systems, optimized for their specific needs. Windows, for example, primarily uses NTFS, or New Technology File System. NTFS is known for its reliability, security features like file permissions, and support for large file sizes. Linux, being the flexible friend it is, supports a wider range of file systems. One of the most popular is ext4, or Fourth Extended File System, known for its performance and stability. ext4 is a journaled file system, meaning it keeps a record of changes made to files, reducing the risk of data corruption in case of a crash. It's like having a backup plan for your files. While Windows and Linux have their preferred file systems, they can often read and write to other file systems as well, though sometimes with limited functionality.